You ever notice how sometimes the most dangerous place for a hero isn't the battlefield it's coming home? Yeah, that's exactly how it was that night. The rain hadn't even dried on the sidewalk when she stepped out of that beat-up corner store, her army jacket pressed sharp as a razor, metal still glinting even in the sad light of a flickering street lamp. She'd survived hell overseas, all for a country that promised so much except, apparently, a little respect back home. Because the only salute she got was the cold stare of two cops, circling like they had nothing better to do, looking at her not as a veteran, not even as a woman, just as a problem. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you can see it in their ICE already written your story before you say a word. She barely made it 3 steps before their voices came, sharp and loaded, calling her suspicious for holding a grocery bag too tight, as if bread and milk could hurt them. But she held her ground, cool as ever, telling them she knew her rights, her voice steady, the kind you only get after barking orders under gunfire. They just laughed, all condescension, mocking her service like it was a joke, like wearing a flag on your sleeve meant you could never be a threat. And then snap. Hands twisted behind her back so fast she didn't have time to catch her breath, cuffs biting into her skin, her cries echoing in the quiet like a siren. No neighbors rushed to help, just faces behind curtains, too scared or maybe too tired of this same old story. One of the officers muttered she should have stayed in her lane, and that hit harder than the cuffs. But you know what? She didn't lower her head, not even then. Tears, sure, but her voice didn't shake. If she could survive war, she could survive this. That's what she told herself, over and over, even as they shoved her into the squad car, even as she felt every promise this country had made her start to unravel. What those cops didn't know, the next 30 minutes were going to flip their world upside down. At the station, everything smelled like burnt coffee and bad attitude. They pushed her in, jacket now soaked and wrinkled, but she stood tall-spine like steel, spirit unbroken. They saw none of it. Just another body to process, another story to erase. They sneered, was it worth it? Fighting for a country that doesn't give a damn about you? Meanwhile, their partner scribbled up some fantasy, charges resisting arrest, threatening conduct, all nonsense, but heavy enough to wreck a life if they stuck. Still, she didn't crack, didn't plead. She just stared straight ahead, thinking about all the people who never got their story told, the ones who fought and bled and then came home to this. The officers, drunk on their own little power, made jokes about mug shots like this was a game. But what broke her heart wasn't the cuffs or the jeers. It was the thought of every young black girl out there, watching, learning the rules the hard way. Doesn't matter how brave you are, some people only see what they want. Just when the hopelessness started to settle in, bam, tension in the air like a thunderstorm. Heavy boots stomping outside, doors slamming, voices barking orders with real authority. The glass doors crashed open and a team of FBI agents strode in, no hesitation, no apologies, just pure presence, their jackets stamped with 3 bold letters that made everyone freeze. Let me back up a sec. These agents weren't here for a friendly check-in. They had files, stacks of them. Evidence. Recorded complaints. Stories that painted the kind of picture you don't hang on your wall. The laughter in the room? Dead. Those cops, all bravado a second ago, shrinking back like kids who just got caught. Because the FBI didn't come on a hunch, they came prepared, with warrants and footage, with eyewitnesses and a mandate to clean house. One agent, tall, calm, but you could tell he didn't mess around, walked right up and said, "This woman is under federal protection now." Just like that, the illusion shattered. The cops fumbled excuses, voices cracking. She resisted. She was dangerous, you know the type. But every word dug their hole deeper, because the agents had body cam footage, real witnesses, and a paper trail leading way past tonight. One agent knelt, unlocked her cuffs so gently it almost broke her after all that violence. Breathing free felt strange, heavy. She realized her pain wasn't just personal, it was proof, living evidence, and the FBI was about to use it as a battering ram. The lead agent looked at the captain guy who'd been pretending not to see all this forever and said, "You built this place on intimidation and fear. But tonight it ends." The words hit the walls like a sledgehammer. a verdict overdue. Not just for her, but for everyone who'd been chewed up by this system. The station felt smaller, suffocating. Those officers who strutted all night? Now just shadows. Eyes down, no words left. The agent read the warrant out loud: names, dates, stories. Black teenagers locked up on lies. Veterans humiliated. Single moms thrown in cuffs for nothing. Every name echoed. Each one another crack in the foundation. You could see the captain's jaw trembling, color draining. He knew it wasn't about her anymore. It was about a whole rotten system finally dragged into the light. And she, still sitting there, became more than a victim. She was proof you could survive and still stand tall. When the agent turned and asked if she wanted to press charges, she said yes, every single one. Her voice steady, eyes burning not with hate, but with the need to make sure no one else would have to go through what she had. The next scene could have been straight out of movie. Officers lined up, badges stripped, the same handcuffs they'd used on so many others now biting into their own wrists. The veteran felt justice, grief, relief, all mixed together. Because the fight wasn't over, not by a long shot. But tonight she won. Stepping outside, the air felt new. The rain had cleared, stars breaking through at last. She looked up, whispered, "They try to break me. Instead, we broke them." And right there, in the hush before dawn, her story became everyone's proof that dignity, once stolen, can be reclaimed, and maybe, just maybe, the system that failed her could be forced to look in the mirror. So tell me, is that justice? Or just a start? Where do we draw the line? And who gets to decide what's right in a world so tilted? Let's hear it. Drop your take in the comments, share your story, because change doesn't start in some office or courtroom. It starts with us, right here, right now.